Now that we're getting back to work on the MT, it's time to rethink our priorities. Hi, I'm Russ. I'm rebuilding a 1977 Mobile Traveler motorhome. And this is all about the MT and me.
There is a lot of water on the floor. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it's buckled the wood.
This is wet. Across here is wet. It's still dripping from right here. This piece of wood here is soaked. There's a spot of water right there coming through insulation. This is wet all along here. That's wet.
So it looks like that center seam has given way.
Looks that way. It's wet right here on that seam. That's wet. Wet right here. What's puzzling me is how that much water got under that plastic I laid down though. So I'm going to have to get back on top and get the tarp pulled back and see what's going on with that plastic, because I don't think the water should have gotten under the plastic to the roof. Obviously the roof's leaking, I knew that. That's why I put the plastic there. But why isn't the plastic working? Well, why is it working up there and not back here? Questions, questions, questions. Got to get back on the roof, get some answers.
What do you see?
I can actually, this is seeing the water that's pooled all across here. So I think the problem is not that the plastic is leaking. I think the liquid's probably actually seeping through it.
It's not leaking, it's seeping through it.
I guess it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It might behoove us to throw some strips of bamboo up there. Crosswise.
Tape loose. There's as much water under the plastic as there is on top of it. So a lot of what I'm seeing is underneath the plastic.
Wow, that is a lot of water.
Told you, yeah. For some reason, I think we just trapped it there with the plastic.
I think there was less water in the MT before we put the plastic on.
I agree. Definitely. I have the tarp and the plastic pulled back about 3/4 of the way. I'm going to let the top dry out. It's not supposed to rain for a couple of days. So I'm just going to leave it like this, let it dry out, let the plastic and tarp dry out good. And in the meantime, come up with a method for propping all this up and making it work.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew I saved that piece of bamboo for a reason. I think I can modify it and use it to lay on top of the MT and then put the plastic and the tarp up there so that I don't have anything actually contacting the aluminum surface except for the bamboo frame. It'll keep it up, give it airspace, and maybe keep that water from seeping through and leaking under and pooling like it did before. Anyway, that's the plan. Let's see if we can make it work. Well, it is my hope that this bamboo framework will keep the plastic from touching the top of the MT, even when it gets wet, providing enough support that it won't fall down and pool. So, next step, pull the plastic very carefully back over this bamboo, because we don't want to snag it and tear it in any way. And then we have to take just as much care in pulling the tarp back over the plastic, which might even be a little more challenging. And I was just reminded that I really need to reinforce around the air conditioner with another layer of plastic, because I can't say for sure that this is where it's leaking from, but it kind of looks that way. I don't know exactly why it's seeping in or how it's seeping in from around the AC unit, but if there's a possibility that's the problem, then I'll lay some more heavy, several layers of plastic over the air conditioner and over the framing and see if that doesn't help keep the water out, because that is the ultimate goal, keeping the water out of the inside of Pearl. So, a little more spit and polish here, some more plastic on the AC unit, and then we'll see about pulling this plastic back. But it's starting to get dark, so I may continue this tomorrow when I've got more daylight and more time to work on it. this has been a pretty good day's work for now. So, let's leave it like it is. Clear skies, not going to rain or anything tonight. And I will see you tomorrow, and we'll get this plastic and the tarp back into position. It's next day. We're back on top of Pearl once again. Now yesterday, I think I might have misspoken myself when I was talking about putting plastic over plastic. I think I might have given the impression that I was going to lay extra plastic down over the AC unit in the middle and then pull this over it. It's actually just the opposite. I'm going to pull this sheet of plastic, the original one up here, back into position just like it was on top of the bamboo framing. And then I have an additional piece of plastic that I'm going to spread out in the midsection over it, giving me 2 layers of plastic in the middle, hopefully to prevent any more leaking like we had before. And once I get that second layer down, we will very carefully and slowly, no doubt, pull the tarp back over it all and then see how it all fits. So, it's a lot of tugging and a lot of slow positioning. Watch carefully, and above all, wish me luck that I don't tear this plastic or the other piece of plastic, or maybe a tendon trying to work on it. We'll see. Both pieces of plastic spread out, about as good as I can spread them. There's a slight breeze today that is both my friend and my enemy, depending on how it blows and what I'm doing. So I'm going to see if I can get this tarp pulled back some to help hold all of this plastic in position. And once again, I'm going to try to do that without hurting the plastic or hurting myself. I feel like I'm tucking myself in for the night. It's actually very snug.
Now just run up there and do what you need to do.
Oh, you got camera.
I have a near-dead battery too, so. Do what you do.
next one is 6 inches past my fingertips. I gotta move the whole darn ladder to get to it.
You know this foot over here is not sitting on anything, right?
I know. Well, I'm hanging on to this.
Okay, hang on. And then you got the very corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Almost done with this side. I don't know who is shooting what, but they really need to improve their aim. Just goes to show how close we live to the deer woods.
'Tis the season. You know, I had a news story this morning. Been doing this up north, but they're going to do it in Arkansas too. Testing deer for coronavirus.
Really?
Yeah, so far there are no confirmed cases in Arkansas. They have had some up in the Midwest, and they're just urging hunters to be very careful handling the meat, cleaning it, wear gloves, be sanitary, extra sanitary, so that they don't expose themselves to something.
Yeah. Bambi got the Rona.
Kind of makes me think twice about eating any venison this season, though.
Good thing you're not a hunter.
Exactly.
You need a haircut. Don't worry.
Wear my hair down to there, say beware, and go off on a tear.
Hey, don't you give us any copyright infringement.
They ask him why I'm a hairy guy. Well, I think maybe that's all I can do. Now it remains to be seen if that'll keep water from pooling up on the roof. To recap, I've got the canvas tarp, I've got plastic doubled up in the middle part of the top.
Where you found the big hole.
Where I found the big hole, yeah. It goes from basically the seam into the fiberglass from that area all the way to about a foot from the back, the very back. So it's a fairly good piece of plastic that's doubled up. It's stretched over the sides of the bamboo, leaves an air gap. I don't know if you can see under there or not, but kind of hard to tell. There you go, you can see it down there. Leaves a bit of an air gap so that maybe that'll keep the water from pooling on the roof, and what water does get through will have ventilation so that it can evaporate. This has turned into a much more complicated project than I ever thought it would.
Don't most projects though?
They seem to. They seem to. So, I think the next rain is the forecasting maybe Thursday night. That's
Today's
still
Monday.
This is Monday, so we're a few days away from that. So we'll simply have to wait and see. But we'll have an update for you next weekend. In the meantime, I may find a few little bits and bobs to work at between now and then. Mostly, I'm probably going to be helping Ree work on Christmas gifts. Because
'tis the season.
'tis the season, and that's the other big focus. We want to thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. Really helps our numbers, okay? Till next time around, I'm Russ. Reed's behind the camera again, and we'll talk later. You really think it's going to work?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
But I'm optimistic.
Hey, you know, gave me something to do all weekend.
Instead of helping me.
Instead of helping you. Got me out of helping you, didn't it? That's
Come here and
good.
hold this wood while I cut it.